You're watching 48 Fastcast.
Welcome into our 48 Fastcast, just past 7 o'clock on a Friday morning, and that's Friday sunshine really shining out today.
It really is right over our shoulders right now, Eric, and thankfully a little bit warmer today, it looks like.
Yeah, big change compared to what we had Wednesday and Thursday. Highs right around 60 degrees. Now, the only problem with today, it will be more of a nuisance than anything, will be the winds that really start to pick up as we go through the afternoon into the evening. And these winds could be gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour. We start off on a pretty chilly note, but big improvement as far as our temperatures go. Even by lunchtime, we're sitting there in the mid 50s. Temperatures right now, some of you might have some patchy light frost that you have to scrape off your car or truck windshield, as we are waking up in the mid 20s to low 30s. Still one of the warmer mornings we've seen so far this week. But this is the wind, initially out of the west-southwest, becoming more northwesterly. But when you have sustained winds around 15 and wind gusts to 30, it's just going to be one of those days where things are blowing around a bit. So make sure your kids have a coat with them when heading to the bus stop here and then coming home from school. It's a Friday, but also a nice day, so you do get an A+. We're going to talk more about your weekend forecast coming up.
This is your 48 First Alert Road Report, sponsored by Bankston Motorhomes.
A traffic update for you. Still looking pretty good here on this Friday morning. We've been tracking one accident this morning. It's in Florence, and this is on Helton Drive. This will affect you right by Bradshaw Drive, both north and southbound. Maybe a little slow, but overall looking pretty good. Big picture, the traffic triangle is clean, including 565, 65, 31, 72, and coming down 53 from Harvest and Tony. No problems getting to downtown Huntsville here this morning. Here are your drive times, and please have a safe morning commute. Matthew.
All right, Jeff, thank you. New developments this morning in a DeKalb County capital murder case. The woman authorities believe pushed another woman off of a cliff has pled guilty to murder. Loretta Carr pushed Mary Elizabeth Isbell off a cliff to her death at Little River Canyon. This happened in 2021. DeKalb County prosecutors allege that her daughter, Jessie Kelly, helped kill Isbell as well. Kelly pled guilty last year. It's not known what drove the two women to kill Isbell. Carr was scheduled to go on trial next month, and county prosecutors were seeking the death penalty. A sentencing date has not been set. Happening today, testimony in a Marshall County murder trial is set to resume. Colt Carroll is accused of murdering Felicia Thompson of Athens in 2023. Yesterday, jurors listened to a 45-minute interview where Carroll shared his side of what happened. He claimed Thompson injured herself outside a Buck's Lounge in Gunnersville. Carroll says the two were drinking right before. He also says Thompson fell out of his truck along J.W. Darnell Avenue. Carroll admitted to kicking her body, but said he only did so to get her body back in the car after falling. Marshall County investigators say he beat her to death.
Well, Culver County Sheriff's deputies have identified the 69-year-old man who was found dead inside of his home earlier this week. Martin Tubbs was found dead at his home on Jones Road Wednesday. That's near Barton Frankfurt Road. The sheriff's office tells us the circumstances surrounding his death are suspicious. We're told there was a lot of blood found at the house as well. Tubbs' body is being sent for an autopsy. An Albertville man who tried to have sex with a 15-year-old will spend the next 2 decades behind bars. Edgar Castro Juarez receiving that sentence yesterday. He was initially arrested after talking to someone he thought was a 15-year-old girl, but he was actually talking to a Limestone County sheriff's deputy. Castro Juarez was then charged with attempted human trafficking. He eventually pled guilty to multiple sex crime charges. Well, Madison County Sheriff's deputies have arrested the woman they say was caught on camera trying to steal things out of a storage unit. You see the video here. That woman is Crystal Fairchild. We're told that theft happened last week at the USA storage facility in Meridianville. Well, the gate at that facility wasn't working properly, and you can see the driver of that vehicle driving right through. 2 storage units were burglarized.
Around Alabama now, a UAB police officer has been arrested accused of stealing a pickup truck. That officer has been placed on leave. Johnny Fowler IV is accused of stealing that truck from Montgomery County last month. He was arrested in Jefferson County a few days later. This comes after multiple reports of UAB police officers potentially using law enforcement databases to steal cars and scrap them for parts. Former Birmingham Police Chief A.C. Roper says UAB handled the situation the right way.
It's very rare, but occasionally there are allegations of misuse, and what's important there is the proper response, that it's investigated, that if it's a training issue or a policy issue or a supervision issue, that department takes the appropriate steps to resolve it.
Fowler is charged with unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and theft of property.
Well, staying in the state, a bipartisan group of lawmakers have introduced a series of bills that they say would help lower what you have to pay for electricity. Now, those bills look to overhaul how the state regulates utilities and tax incentives that are given to data centers. It would require data centers to pay the full cost of any excessive electricity use. The goal of the legislation is to prevent you from paying a higher electricity bill due to private development.
Right now, U.S. lawmakers are considering passing the SAVE Act. If passed, you would need to provide an ID to vote. Senator Tommy Tuberville says he wants lawmakers to pass that bill as soon as possible.
We have to have photo ID. We have to have one-day voting. We have to have ballots that are done the right way, that are kept, stored where they can be recounted if need to be recounted. We don't need to mail out ballots other than people that have a legitimate excuse to vote early because they're not going to be around a voting booth.
The SAVE Act has already passed the House, but it faces an uphill battle in the Senate. The measure needs 60 votes to pass, but all 47 Democrats have pledged to vote against it. They argue requiring an ID to vote could hurt people who may not have the necessary documentation.
Well, state lawmakers are considering a measure which would eliminate your ability to elect members of the Alabama Public Service Commission. That three-person board is the one that sets utility rates across the state. If this bill is approved, the board would be appointed by the governor, House Speaker, and Senate President Pro Tem. Now, right now, each of those positions are allowed to accept campaign donations from the utility companies.
Alabama Power is feeling a lot of pressure right now with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Alabamians finally waking up to the fact that utility bills are out of control and that they have power to do something. I think Alabama Power saw that. I think they saw that people are standing up to them and ready to take action, and this is their response in order to try to protect themselves and their profits. They thought, well, but what better can we do than take the power to choose completely away from the people?
Alabama is one of only 10 states where people elect energy regulators. Now, this bill would not go into effect until after the November 2026 election. Well, Tennessee state lawmakers are calling for some leaders at National Electric Service to be fired. This, of course, follows the company's response to the widespread power outages that were a result of last month's winter storm. Now, several lawmakers want CEO Teresa Broyles Applin and other executives to go. The utility service has been criticized for the number of outages and just how long it took to return power to customers. Some lawmakers even say the company turned away help from other companies in East Tennessee and Kentucky. One lawmaker says he'll propose widespread changes if changes don't happen soon enough.
It was a total disaster and a disaster in and of itself. There was no urgency in the first week about getting power back on. And so the CEO needs to be replaced. I think the whole executive team needs to be replaced. And if they're unwilling to make that change, then we'll be willing to do it.
Now, he also says he and other lawmakers may consider legislation to change the structure of NES. This could include taking control of the company away from the city of Nashville and changing it to a co-op that would be privately owned by its customers.
Now to a story you will only see on WAFF 48. This morning, we're showing you how Google Translate helped save a crash victim in Ardmore. Brenda Lowe was driving home when the driver in front of her lost control, hit a ditch, and flew into the air. The driver's car ended up on someone's front porch. Lowe rushed over to check on the driver, but soon realized she only spoke Spanish. So she pulled out her phone to use Google Translate to help communicate with the injured driver.
It really just was a good reminder to me that we all bleed the same color blood, and we all deserve to have that compassion shown to us.
The driver crashed just steps away from where the resident of that home was sleeping. We're told no one was seriously hurt.
Well, 48 is on your side this morning talking with local business owners who say they recently had an issue with a sudden debit card freeze. Now, those business owners are customers at Redstone Federal Credit Union. Now, officials with the credit union tell us an internal error is what caused those cards to decline. Two of the local business owners we spoke with say they've had a business account there for over 3 years and have never had an issue like this before. They also tell us they weren't initially notified about what was happening.
Everyone's business debit card were canceled, even if they didn't know what was happening, but at least alert us that, oh, by the way, your credit card has been frozen or whatever.
Get some assurance that this will never happen again.
Yes.
You know, some sort of communication would be great.
Yeah.
Our Redstone Federal Credit Union leaders didn't tell us exactly how many businesses were impacted by this. Now, despite the error here, the incident, neither business owner tells us they plan on leaving the credit union.
Happening later this morning, a hearing to determine whether Alabama's Charles Bediako will be allowed to continue playing college basketball is set to take place. Bediako's case has drawn national attention since he previously left Alabama to declare for the NBA draft. He spent the past 3 years in the NBA G League. Yesterday, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey filed an affidavit saying what Bediako is doing is hurting the sport. So some sports fans we spoke with yesterday tell us former professional athletes should not be able to come back and play college sports. Some UAH men's basketball fans say the Bediako case could end up ruining what makes college basketball special to them.
A lot of college players are playing for an opportunity, right? They're playing for the chance to go big. That's what you see in March Madness. This is why you see all that intensity in these important college games, because it's to get their name on the map. But when you have players that are coming back, you're kind of taking the heart out of the sport. And it's the heart is the reason why I love watching college basketball and college sports in general.
Other longtime fans we talked with hope the Bediako college career ends later this morning.
He went and played. He's a grown man and came back, and he's playing with younger men, and I don't appreciate it. I think they've gone on, they've moved away, they've made money. NIL has totally changed the game of basketball.
The judge who initially allowed Bediako to play has recused himself after it was revealed he was a donor to the university. Alabama will take on the Auburn Tigers tomorrow at 3 p.m. That game in Auburn. All right, time now 7:12. There will soon be more room for you and your child to study career technology in Lawrence County.
Yeah, construction crews are currently adding an additional building that will have more classrooms and training space there. And we're on your side, taking you inside that construction. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy joins us live at that site right now in Moulton. And Sarah Grace, those programs include welding and advanced manufacturing.
And it also involves an industrial maintenance program as well. And Superintendent John Brett Smith tells me that all of these programs are currently full, which is causing them to have to turn away students because of this. However, with this additional classroom building, they'll be able to double their enrollment in these popular programs. That means 50 more students will be able to graduate each year. Dr. Smith says that these new programs will help prepare students for jobs at companies like Mazda Toyota. He tells me that they partner with multiple employers across the region, so those graduates can be hired right away. Smith says this project will help students for years to come.
In the school business, not just in Lawrence County, we often talk about what we don't have, but I would rather focus on what we do have. We have some of the best students, I believe, in anywhere in the world, and we have staff members that go above and beyond each and every day. I say they do more with less than any group around. And we're truly committed to doing what's best for kids.
The structure of the building is now complete, and the rest of the project should be complete just in time for the 2026-27 school year. Live in Moulton, Sarah Grace Kennedy, 48 on your side.
Now, your first alert weather with meteorologist Eric Burke.
Well, good morning once again, everyone. Chilly this morning, but actually one of the warmer mornings we've seen so far this week. We've had some very cold starts, and I want to show you by 9:30, our temperatures will be in the low to mid 40s, which is warmer than we were at any point of the day yesterday. So the warm up today happening a lot faster, and our temps continue to warm to about 60 degrees as we go into the afternoon. But the wind is going to start to pick up out of the north and west. And with the northwest wind tomorrow, temperatures are going to take a hit here. High of just 46, 56 on Sunday. Nice mild day to round out your weekend. And then our highs are pushing 70 into early next work and school week. We've got a few chances for rain coming into next week. We're going to talk more about your weekend forecast, though, coming up.
All right, thanks, Eric. Well, still to come on 48 News today, the Fastcast. Over 450,000 Chrysler vehicles are being recalled. We'll tell you why.
And leaders with the Alabama Association of Realtors say the housing market here in Alabama is doing well. We'll tell you what they say is behind this trend next.
Oh, we have a 48 recall alert for you. Chips Ahoy Baked Bites Brookies were first recalled back in December, but that recall has been expanded. There may be clumps of cornstarch in the product, which can cause someone to choke. The recall is limited to boxes with expiration dates for May 2026. And a brand of air purifier is also being recalled because it could catch fire. Aero Eve is recalling 200,000 MK04 air purifiers. There have been nearly 40 reports of the item catching on fire and overheating. The air purifiers were sold on Amazon, Temu, TikTok, and Shopify over the past few years. Now, if you have this air purifier, contact Aero Eve for a free replacement. And Chrysler is recalling more than 450,000 vehicles because the brakes could fail. Now, the recall covers 2026 Jeep Cherokees and 2024 through 2026 Jeep Wagoneer S models. This issue could also keep some brake lights from illuminating. Now, if you have one of these vehicles, take it to the dealership to be fixed for free.
Madison City leaders say their new public safety headquarters will improve service for everyone in the city. The new offices are in town Madison, not far from Toyota Field. The locations give police, fire, and other emergency responders a base south of I-565. Fire Chief Brandy Williams says the old offices were too cramped and too small for that growing city.
We were also starting to feel cramped at Station 1. We had numerous people sharing offices. And we were able to move the fire marshal's office down here. Now they have the space that they need to operate. The training division moved down here, so fire and EMS training is operating out of here. And then emergency management also moved down here. So it gave us much needed space.
Chief Williams says they first realized they needed a new space when the pandemic hit and crews were forced to spread out.
Morgan County EMA leaders are working to make sure they're as prepared as possible for a potential hazmat situation. Hundreds of vehicles carrying chemicals travel throughout the county every day, and those chemicals are also transported along the Tennessee River. So that's why EMA officials are launching a safety plan to make sure they're prepared as possible if a big chemical spill happens.
The Alabama housing market is off to a great start. That's according to the Alabama Association of Realtors. A new report from the association shows the housing market sales prices increased across the state last year. Median sales prices even reached the highest level in Alabama history. Alabama now ranks as the 9th most moved to state in the country, according to the report. Leaders with the Alabama Association of Realtors say this latest report isn't just good news for sellers.
Sometimes you hear the terms of a seller's market or a buyer's market, and really when the market conditions don't favor either of those, it's very balanced. If you're in the market to buy, the great opportunities for you to purchase homes, a lot of active listings, people want choice. And so the more choices you have, the better.
Things like national interest rate decisions and the upcoming Supreme Court ruling on tariffs could also impact the housing market.
Well, covering your community in Huntsville now, where state transportation leaders are looking at ways to make it safer for you to get around Alabama. The Alabama Transportation Conference was held at the Von Braun Center yesterday, and those who were there talked about the best ways to make our roads and railways safer. Now, one state expert says there are several ways to make improvements while also being smart with your tax money.
The state and the state DOT, the local transportation agencies, the consultants all get together. The goal is really to get the latest technologies and the best way of doing things out to the communities so that we end up getting more efficiency for our money.
Now, Rillet, who you just heard from there, tells us improving the state transportation system will help bring more businesses to Alabama.
Heads up, Alabama fans, the Crimson Tide football homecoming game has been set. They'll be playing the Texas A&M Aggies on October 24th. That game will be in Tuscaloosa. A kickoff time has yet to be announced.
Well, the Winter Olympics, of course, the opening ceremony today. You can catch all the action right here on WAFF 48. The cover will start at 11 a.m. today. As a result, our noon newscast will be streamed on our website and other social media platforms. The noon show will also be streamed online for the next few weeks.
Now, your first alert weather with meteorologist Eric Burke.
Yeah, a lot of sports to look forward to, including Sunday. If you're watching the big game and having some people over, nice day for that. We'll talk about your weekend forecast here in a second. Chilly start this morning. Some of you do have a little bit of patchy light frost. You might have to scrape off the car or truck windshield. Highs today near 60, but the wind will be increasing as we go through the afternoon into the evening. And we warm up into next week. Our actual high temperatures will be close to 70 degrees for Monday and Tuesday of next work and school week. These are your wind gusts, though, that we're dealing dealing with this afternoon. It's not just the gusts here in blue, it's a sustained wind becoming more northwesterly. So those temperatures will start to fall off pretty quickly. We are mostly sunny, then the clouds start to build in right around sunset. Big game forecast. I told you Sunday should be a beautiful day. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm just hoping for a good football game, but maybe you're firing up the grill or the smoker. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s, and look at the warmth we have into early next week. You're watching your 48 Fastcast. Wherever you stream, we'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. If you're looking to earn a living while driving around the Rocket City, listen up. Huntsville Transit is hosting a bus driver recruitment open house next week. It'll be held on Tuesday, February 10th at the Huntsville Transit office located on Church Street. That event will be held from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Well, you have the chance to spread some love and positivity all across the world this Valentine's Day thanks to a special project. The Ronald McDonald House of Alabama has launched its Love Notes initiative. And you can write something encouraging online and send it to families who are staying at the Ronald McDonald House. You can submit that online note by visiting their website. And just a reminder, you can catch the Super Bowl right here on WAFF 48. The Seattle Seahawks are taking on the New England Patriots. Of course, that's a rematch of Super Bowl 49, which ended with that dramatic goal line interception and everyone saying, just hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. That's it. Our pregame coverage is set to begin at noon. Kickoff is set for 5:30.
Now, your first alert weather with meteorologist Eric Burke.
Yeah, I'm ready to eat. One of my favorite eating days of the year is this coming Sunday, so maybe the suit might be a little tighter on Monday morning. For today, 60 degrees. What a fantastic end to our week. We are mostly sunny. The wind is going to pick up, though, a little bit annoying at times through the afternoon, but nothing too terrible. I'll take the warmer temps if we have to deal with some wind. We are still chilly, though, this morning. Temperatures are in the mid-20s to low 30s. Maybe the kids have been cooped up in the house all week. You want to get them outside, burn a few calories, burn some energy. Highs around 60 degrees. Here's your extended forecast. Again, if you're firing up the grill on Sunday, good day for it. Temperatures will be comfortable in the mid-50s. Doesn't look like we'll be terribly windy there, but a good-looking forecast from start to finish. And temps are close to 70 degrees actually early next week, and we do start to cool off after a couple chances for rain. Highs around Valentine's weekend and back there in the low 50s. But all in all, enjoy the day today. Just a little bit windy as we go through the afternoon.
All right. Well, it looks like a decent weekend. I mean, compared to what we've had recently.
Yeah,
so.
we needed it.
No flizzard like Jeff was tracking last week.
That's right. The heavy flurries and all that stuff. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Again, we'll be streaming at noon. Until then, we'll see you later. Have a great one.